WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American over here in Germany tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. Today I have a single cask bourbon from an independent German bottler for a shop in the Netherlands. Is it confusing? Yes, it's going to get even more confusing. So what we have here is a bad label design. I'm going to say this a time and again. All right, so I've been online with these guys that do this, and I've actually criticized them enough online, and now I'm doing it on YouTube as well. Online was Facebook. All right, so what we have here, we have the Wu Dram Clan. So I go to the website called, then here, the WuDramClan.com. I'm sorry, that's not right. That's WuDramClan.de. And I actually get a little bit of information here. DE is for Germany. Wu Dram Clan, registered trademark, quality first. Wu Dram Clan. So we have our vision. We believe that in the end, it is not the mass that matters, but entirely the content of the bottle. Amen, brothers. We have made it our goal to bottle only selected spirits. We stand for quality and sensory perception. Become a part of it. Sounds great. The next line on the website is Scotch whiskey. We love peated whiskeys. We love the island of Islay. Of course, we also love the other regions of Scotland, and we internally already call it our second home. Sign up for our newsletter to never miss a bottling. Not even a link to the newsletter here. All right. And then they talk about cognac, armagnac, and rum. Where's the bourbon? I mean, that's really good. So we go to the page about, and we have here Takazadu. Sorry if I mispronounce your name here. Our man from Japan, the samurai, fearless and always on our side. Quality is the top of the list for Taksad. He is our gourmet and convinces with his sensory skill. I have not met him, I'm sorry. So Boris, the next guy. I know that guy, a man from Munich, moving things in the background, hunting and analyzing in cold blood. Not the best phrase. No matter how tough the negotiations get, Boris will handle it, but in the end, it has to be peated. Once again, that word, peated. And we have Sebastian Gaia. I also know our man from the Black Forest, in front of the public, always in the front row, and creating the buzz. Seb is our food hunter for liquid pleasure. No spot on earth remains undiscovered. Excellent. And I think Sebastian and Boris were guys that have actually bought some whiskey, bourbon in particular, from me when I brought it over way back when, the last time I was in the States. 2000, I was in the States this summer, but hey, I did it differently. But the time before that, I was over there 2017. I brought back some bottles, and they both got some of the sample bottles and the samples from me. All right, that's enough. Now, if I go to Whiskybase, I have, first of all, my problem is the title of this bottle. Now, of course, if we have, for example, let's just go to Maker's Mark. Wonderful name, all right? So let's go to a distillery called Elijah Craig. So they did not call it the Elijah Craig whiskey, the Heaven Hill. They did not call it the Heaven Hill whiskey. They called it the Elijah Craig whiskey, and this is a bottle-proof bottle. All right, so they do not call this an MGP whiskey. They call it George Remus. They gave it a name, so I can actually look up in my database and find the whiskey. All right, now the name in the database I'm using is called Whiskybase. For this whiskey, it's called, it used to be called Distilled at A Kentucky Distillery. Now it's just called A Kentucky Distillery 2018. Come on, guys, you can do better than that. All right, so it says Kentucky Bourbon, distilled at a Kentucky Distillery, USA 2018. Now, I'm going to tell you something. You probably know this, but listen carefully. A straight bourbon, not on the label, straight is not here. A straight bourbon can be distilled at many different distilleries in Kentucky. I'm going to use the evil word, blended together and then bottled as a single product. A Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. Straight does not mean single. Bottled and bond is one single distillery and one single distillery season, but not straight. All right, so the word straight is not on here. So we have Kentucky bourbon. It does define that it's from a single distillery. distilled at a distillery, Kentucky Distillery, 2018. So we have distilled in November 2018. We have bottled in May of 2022. We have a barrel, one of 183 bottles. We have 3 years old, and we have 70 CL, and we have 52.7%. Nowhere does anywhere say something about being in barrel proof or cask strength. Does cask strength barrel proof really have a legal foundation in America yet? Well, they're getting there. At least they have something there. All right, and they put a lighthouse on it. Have you been to Kentucky? I have. Have you seen a lighthouse in Kentucky? I haven't. Have you? A lighthouse on a Kentucky bourbon? Really? I mean, a horse, yay. Yeah, rolling landscapes, yay. But a lighthouse? All right, it's part of the Wu Dram Clan Lighthouse series, whatever that means. And to make things even more complicated, the bottler, because we have to have actually someone who is the importer of this whiskey, someone we can complain to if there's a problem with this whiskey, in the European Union is on the side, and it's called the Duckhammer's Rare and Fine Spirits. What Duckhammers have to do with the Wu Dram Clan is not evident online or on the bottle. I don't know. All right, so now I did not buy this bottle. Full disclosure. I almost bought the bottle. I started complaining about it online. I was like, okay, I can go online and buy it. 79 euros 95 cents plus 9 euros 95 to send it to me in Germany. This is not even in Germany. It's a German independent bottler, but they sold it to their partner store in the Netherlands, and it's a store pick for them exclusive. So I have to pay 9 euros 95 and the 79 euros 95 to get it to me. This is a 90 euro bottle for me. I decided no. I was even thinking about buying 2 bottles to actually get maybe a free shipping. Nope. So I didn't buy it at all. But a friend of mine, we met up together yesterday at a meet-up for bloggers and vloggers at a German distillery that I organized. And he was there. He's a blogger as well. He's called Expedition Whiskey. His name is Dirk. And he pulled out this bottle at the end of the evening. We were back at the hotel. We were sitting together with 15 people at a table. And he pulled this out. A couple of people tried it. No one poured a second pour. I said, okay, I need a sample so I can do a video. He said, I'm just going to give you the whole bottle. And a week later, I'm going to do a whiskey show. And he's going to get his bottle back. So I have a bottle to show on the stream or here in the video. And you can do it that way. And I can complain all I want about bad labeling. Now, Wu Dram Clan, I am honestly offering you the opportunity to use my limited expertise to actually help you with your next label concerning American whiskeys. I'm more than glad to take a look at it, proofread it, and give you a suggestion, recommendations for free to see if there's something you can actually improve or you should change. All right, so for example, the word straight's not on here at all. All right, very, very good. Now, what am I going to compare it to? I think this is from Green River Distilling. Now, there are not many places at the moment in Kentucky that you can get barrels that are from 2018 that are available. I think Green River was one of them. They were now bought up this summer by Bradshaw Bourbon Company is the second one. And the third place that has a lot of contract distilling at the moment is called Wilderness Trail. So half the products from Wilderness Trail, they actually put up in their own warehouses. For those of us that love Wilderness Trail like I do, yay. And the other half, they use that for contract distilling for other people. All right, so we have here Terry Bradshaw's Bourbon. We're at 51.9%. Here we're at 52.7. So we're within 1 percentage point of each other, ABV, 2 proof points. I think that's a fairly good thing. This says that it's aged. I love this little thing here. On the side it says here, aged a minimum of 2 years in new charred oak. Now in Germany, or I'm sorry, in Europe, this would be an illegal label. We could not say Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. We could say here Kentucky straight bourbon, but we can't use the word whiskey if it's under 3 years of age. All right, so bourbon is allowed, but not whiskey. Whiskey has to be in the European Union, at least 3 years of age. So I'm going to pour this, compare this, and see if we're maybe somewhere in the ballpark here. This bottle, sorry, I was born in Western Pennsylvania. I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. I had to have a bottle of Bradshaw's whiskey just because of Terry Bradshaw. As a child growing up, he was a hero in my own. I mean, the guy he was a legend, all right? So Franco Harris, Lynn Swan, Terry Bradshaw, all the guys, Mean Joe Green. I mean, those are the people that were in Pittsburgh. The TV station I received on my antenna back then, those were the guys I grew up with. All right, so these were heroes of mine. And so if he puts out a whiskey, I had to buy it. All right. Is it great whiskey? No. Is it okay whiskey? Yes, it's actually okay. This is a C, maybe on a good day, even a C+ whiskey. The question is, what's this stuff? All right, so on the nose, I get young whiskey. I get a little bit of an acetone moment. I get some very, very unripe apples, almost like a crab apple moment. A tiny, tiny bit of brown sugar in the background and a little bit of a nuttiness with a tiny, tiny bit of like a pecan nut. Over here, the Bradshaw in comparison, it's sweeter. There's more of a apricot peach moment going on here. It's so much smoother. Now it is 1 point whatever percent less alcohol, but it's not really, really that. It's the distillate itself that's different. All right, just to move things around, just to actually shake things up. So the third whiskey that's going to enter the competition today. Why? Because this is actually cheaper in Germany than this. This is the 2022 02 batch for Europe for export. This is 62.4%, 7 years, 1 month, and 7 days of old age. The Lumberyard batch. This I can get over here for anywhere between 75 and 80 euros, including postage and handling and everything else. So we're talking 75 euros for a Booker's. I'd say 80. So that's a higher end at the moment. 80 euros for the Booker's or 90 euros for this. Now, if I walked into the store in the Netherlands, I would get it for $79.95. So these are equivalent in price, and this actually costs more to send it to me. If you look at the color, you should be able to see that there's a massive difference here. If you look at the proof points, 62.4, 52.7, 10 points difference in ABV. Amazing, and yet the same price. Why would I go out and spend 80 euros for this when I can get this? I really don't understand. I would buy this every single time and leave this as I did in the shelf. All right, so on the nose, goodness. I know many of you have been disappointed by many of the batches of Booker's in the past, but at least in my personal opinion, we get one batch a year normally, and the 2202 is one of the best batches I've had in a long time. Better than the 2021 01E, better than the 1901. I did not like the 2022 01E anyway, so good stuff. So let's try them. I actually get a little bit of that sourdough moment going on here, a little bit of a sourness that does not belong. Sorry. Here, not at all. Here. Tiny, tiny little bit of that sour apple. Here as well, more. All right, cheers. The number one thing that I dislike about this whiskey is the heat. Hot, hot, hotter. Hot. It's still hot. It starts off okay, hot. Hotter, hot, hotter, hot. It's still hot. That alcohol burn, that young spirit. Whiskey does not have to taste like this. Am I a little bit of a weakling when it comes to proof, barrel proof, and cask strength and so on? Yes. But we're going to drink this in a moment. It's just going to be liquid gold. And I come back to this and I think, oh, is it lighter fluid? What's going on? Now, after that heat burns away, there is a little bit of that sweetness. There is a little bit of a tobacco and leather moment going on there. But do I really need to endure 10, 15 seconds of heat to get a tiny little bit of pleasure in the end? No. This is between a C minus and a D. Actually, this is D plus whiskey. If you give this to me blind and say, try this, I was like, that's a young bourbon. Oh, wow, that's not really nice. And then the first thing I would do with my bourbon is I would try to dilute it a little bit and add some water. So I'm taking my 52.7 down to maybe 48. So I'm dropping it, yeah? I'm dropping almost 5 points here, ABV, 10 proof points. Now, according to the master distillers of Kentucky, a lot of them, that 107, that 53.5% is that sweet spot. That's what we want to hit for the viscosity, for the creaminess, for that wonderful mouthfeel. We're below that already. So I'm actually trying to save a product that's not great anyways. All right, so on the nose, I get a little bit more of that sourness and a little bit more of I get a barrel char, as if we have these Christmas pyramids and we put candles underneath them, these little wood paddles, and if you put the candle a little bit too close to those wood, it burns it a little bit. That's what I'm getting. Is it better? Yes. Is it great? Is it good? No. The bitterness, actually, the sour moment, sourdough, sour apple, is more there than before. And it really, now I actually get a little bit of a pine pitch moment. Yeah, like a pine tree sap moment, Christmas tree sap. It's just young, it's green. This is not good stuff. So I'm now taking it down to about 40%. Imagine I had a 3-year-old bourbon and I wanted to find the optimal place to actually put it into the glass, put it in the bottle. Is it going to be 52.7? There's no word of barrel proof cask strength on here, so I'm not even sure it is. I do know it's a single barrel because the label says so and the marketing online says so. Give me white label from Jim Beam any day of the year. Give me a Jack Daniels Old Number 7 instead of this. It's just a little bit of sugar water with a little bit of wood moment going on there. Just loses most of its flavor. What a shame. All right, going over to Bardstown. Going over to Bradshaw Whiskey, probably from Green River. This is from Green River. I think this is as well. Now, don't get me wrong. This is not great whiskey, but it's good whiskey. If you can get this for $39.99, even $49.99, that's a solid sipper. It's got the volume, the 51.9%. That was his completion average, by the way. It's got the flavor. Green River Distilling is making some awesome whiskey, to be honest. They're going to have some good stuff in the future. Really like that. That's a solid C plus whiskey. C to C plus. Depends on my mood and depends on the day. Good stuff. Much better. Much better. All right. Going up to the big boy, the Booker's 2022-02. Lumberyard batch. Good stuff on the nose. 62.4%. You do notice there's a little bit of alcohol on the tongue. It's not a burn. It's actually a representation of strength. Get a nice little tiny hug here without any type of acid reflux, nothing going on there. It actually just expands out under your palate and tells you, I'm here. We have the wood, we have the brown sugars, we have the leathers, we have the pecans, we have the flavor of the Booker's moment going on here. Good stuff. Very good. And a long aftertaste, that echo that happens after drinking is absolutely there and worthy of the price tag that you have to pay of over here of 75 to 80 euros, in my opinion. Now, just going back to this, just saying, Jason, you can't take your whiskey. It's just for you too hot because, hey, the 62.4, excellent whiskey. This with its 52.7 is just freaking hot. Wow. And going back from the good bourbon to that distilled at A Kentucky Distillery, gets worse. There's a little bit more of that oaky, over oakiness, which is not right, but it's an astringent moment with sour grapes. Blind D+. Value for money D-. Do not buy this bottle unless you like lighthouses on your bottles of Kentucky bourbon, unless you know the people and you personally want to support them, unless you're at the Passion for Whiskey shop and you try it before you buy it and you go, oh, I like it. Please buy it. There are people that love this stuff. There are people here online that are giving it a great rating. I mean, there's the Gypsy Brother gave it a 90. Don't understand. The Frosty gave it an 89. Other people gave it an 89, 88, 88, 87, 86. I would give this like 84 and 82, maybe a 79 on a bad day. This is not what I want. This is not what I personally want to become known as the high-level bourbon in Europe. This is a product that is way too young, that has been bottled, that is not, my personal opinion, not ready yet to be on the market the way it is. All right, so D+ for taste and D- for value for money. So my question of the day is, what other independent distillers or contract distillers do you know of from Kentucky that actually produce whiskey that you could buy? Now, one person actually said online, one of the three actually said, I have not ever seen a Lighthouse in Frankfort, Kentucky. There is an independent bottler in Frankfort, independent distiller in Frankfurt, and they actually make here, they're called Glens Creek Distilling, yeah, on McCracken Pike. So that's one possibility. The Three Boys Farm Distillery, don't think so. Buffalo Trace and some Frankfort, Kentucky, no, I don't think they're giving up any barrels at all to anyone. Now, the interesting other thing is very close to the Glens Creek is Castle and Key. There's a slight possibility that this is Castle and Key. I do have a rye from Castle and Key over here. I don't have the bourbon yet. I would like to try that in comparison to it. Is that really Castle and Key? Did they give up casks? I know there was a cask program. They financed some stuff with it. And there's been a shift of different distillery ownership as well as the leadership there. So who knows? All right. Bradshaw, not bad. Booker's 2022-02, fabulous. Lumberyard. This, I'm happy I did not buy it. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for liking, subscribing, telling others, sharing, and I'll see you very soon. Whiskey Jason here. Bye-bye.